welcome to the first ever kind of director tour here at the DECC, the Duluth Entertainment Convention Center. And I'm going to use these video series to kind of just show off different cool parts of the deck and changes that are taking shape. So you can probably hear in the background, we actually have Celebration Talent here right now. But I want to talk about some of the changes that have taken shape. One, in the last year, we've actually finally changed out the carpet. This used to be almost purple, and we actually are bringing it back to the original color that it was back in 1966. And I think part of the larger changes we're doing is bringing back that mid-century vibe, while also maybe adding a little fun vibe to it too. So you see a little bit of that with the new neon lights above the bathroom doors, and you'll see some more neon lights as we go upstairs. A little side note that's really cool about our mid-century modern place. Look at this fluting on the wall original, which definitely gives that part and that vibe. But if you go over here, I've been told that this here is actually the same material you have in a curling stone. So just kind of that little northern Duluth touch to it too. And just a lot of cool parts of the space, and we'll showcase some of that right now. So we're up here on the second floor, mezzanine level, upper lobby, whatever you want to call it. This, in my opinion, is one of the best spots in the entire deck, and I would easily argue it's one of the best spots in Duluth. You have this unbelievably good view of the aerial lift bridge, and if you're here at an event at night and it's lit up, it's crazy gorgeous. When they actually built this property and they were setting aside how they would build the original deck in 1966, they very intentionally had this in mind from the start, that this would be one of the icon views of the city. And ironically, over time, we've kind of forgot that this crazy view is here. But not only do you have the view and this lobby, but you also have this beautiful three-tier chandelier that is original to the space in 1966. The original can lights up there, and through a lot of reasons in the country, but we're one of the very few mid-century modern spaces as a performing arts center left in the country. Everyone has their classic 1900s one, but very few community have a 1966 one. And I think it's kind of cool that you get to see this vintage. And I'll show you a couple other cool things up here. One, by the way, usually the bar lines are way better up here, and these are cool bars. You got to come check them out. And I don't know. I love these architectural details, but these original handles of the door are classic mid-century modern, and actually was the original front doors as well. At some point, I'm going to bring those back to the front doors too, but it's just kind of cool to see that. Now we're going to a little walking journey over here. So something that we're adding, because this is kind of an historic space, we're slowly bringing out some of our historic items and showing them off. So you may remember that the original guest service employees were called the red coats, and here is actually a red coat. And you may wonder, what's 11 mean? I have literally no idea. So if you're watching this video and you know what 11 means, please let us know, because I get asked this every time I show the coat off, which hasn't been a lot yet, but we'll be curious. And this is the original conceptual drawing of the build of Symphony Hall and DECC Arena, which historically was Duluth Arena, Duluth Auditorium. But pretty cool. And some musical history. This is a band poster for John Prine back in 2019. John Prine was one of those guests who was here frequently over the years. But one of my favorite pieces we have is this was one of the keys to the city given to the band Wilco, actually at the Bayfront stage years back in 2012. I actually literally was there when it happened. It was a cool music moment in Duluth, in my opinion. So I am really proud that we have the key here. But otherwise, you also have some history to the symphony, the folks who helped make the symphony a reality over time. And my hope is that you'll see this wall kind of showcase that symphony history, and maybe like right now we have dance going on. I'm hoping this wall will become part of that dance history, because both have a legacy in the space. And then one of the last things I'll show you, oh, definitely the last thing on the mezz, is once again we got another cool bar over here. Originally, when this was built, the idea was that side would show the lake, this side would show the city. When we built Amsoil Arena, we kind of covered it up. So now we put up these historic photos of the opening night of DECC or Duluth Arena, and then to the right is the opening night of Symphony Hall. And you can see that three-tier chandelier in the photo. Pretty cool. And then we've added some fun new furniture in the space to kind of give it that mid-century vibe. And you can see that really ugly 1990 rug that we'll replace hopefully next year. So now we're here on the stage at Symphony Hall. I've talked a lot about the new stuff or the historic stuff, but there's also we're lucky just to have this stage. So you actually have a full proscenium which I'm going to apologize right now. I do not know much about theaters, and so I may say something incorrectly. Expect it. I'm trying to repeat what other folks have told me, but I love that we have a 2,200 seat theater. To give you perspective, here in Duluth, the North Shore Theater is only 500 seats. So this is actually a fairly large performing arts center. But also, if you look up, what's really unique about our space is this has what's called a full fly. So when the curtains get raised, they don't have to get bent or trained. They are the full scale right into the ceiling. It's not a half, it's a full. So that's why if you wonder why is Symphony Hall as a building so tall, is so that these curtains can get raised all the way up. And what also is unique, if you follow me over here to the ropes, and this is where I for sure will mess something up. But as you can see, we have a large volume of ropes. So you can have all different types of curtains for your different theatrical performances, whatever it may be. And so, what I've been told, maybe wrong, is that there is nowhere north of the Twin Cities that has this volume of curtains, a full fly, a full proscenium. And so, for a lot of folks, when they're on their national tours, they don't expect to have this great of a stage here in Duluth, Minnesota. And so, we're super lucky to have all of this available for us when people visit. So, there you go. And one last thing to show you. So a couple years ago, we started a new tradition here where that when acts perform on our stage, we ask them to sign the wall in the back. So this is kind of the back green rooms, dressing rooms, whatever you want to call it. And so different acts have done just that. And I'll show you a couple. So the Broadway group Chicago, this is them. This is the World Ballet performance. Side note is that they were mostly Russian, no surprise. The band Theory of the Dead Man, Cirque Musica. But you also have like Rain. Nick might remember the name of the full name, JC. It was, well, actually, it's a Broadway play again. Folsom Prism Experience, board teachers. So in a few weeks, well, we're going to have Nate Bergazzi play in Amsoil in the round. So it's going to be nearly 8,000 people. When he was last year, just in 2022, he didn't even sell out Symphony Hall. And so it just shows you how artists just have these rises of popularity. And we always joke here at the deck that we get artists when they're rising and when they come back down. But it's just fun to see these different names throughout the few years we've already just started this. Yeah, and it's kind of cool. Charlie Barons. We had Weird Al Yankovic. I love that the local band Cars and Trucks knew that Weird Al was coming, so they even made a little note to Weird Al. But anyways, guys, it's just kind of a fun thing to see this over the time, and I'm excited to see this like in 20 years, and hopefully they're just covering all the walls. And it's just part of this legacy. Just imagine if we had done this when it opened in '66, and you'd have Elvis Presley on the wall. Would be pretty cool. Well, thanks for watching what is probably a long video. Hopefully you learned some things. Hopefully you realize how great the space is, and you can just hear it from me of this is an awesome, cool place. And it's a great reason to see a show here. See you later.